wherever you are. Matt here, encouraging you to do all that you do to the glory of God.
Because it's mind-boggling to you, yeah!
Well, I'm back from my brief hiatus from making these videos, and this week I wanted to provide an apologetic response to a book entitled Good Without God by humanist, chaplain, and thinker Greg Epstein. In this book, Epstein argues that belief in God is unnecessary for being moral, meaningful, compassionate, or good. Humanists, he says, can live moral lives grounded in reason, empathy, and shared human values without any need for religion. Now, Christians can affirm that non-believers absolutely can do good things. The question is not, can atheists be good, but rather, what worldview best explains moral goodness and gives its foundation strong enough to sustain it? In other words, how do Epstein and other humanist thinkers ground their definition of goodness in a universe without an objective standard of good? Christianity argues that while atheists can be good, a purely atheistic worldview cannot explain goodness. So let's break this down a little bit. So one of the claims in this book is that you can be good without believing in God. And that's absolutely true. Christians should not argue against what is obviously observable. Atheists love their children. Many non-believers volunteer, donate, or sacrifice. Human beings often have a moral intuition toward goodness. And the Bible affirms this. Romans chapter 2, verses 14 through 15 says that the Gentiles who do not have the law still do things required by the law because God has written his moral law on the human heart. So the debate isn't about whether atheists can do good things, but whether atheism can explain why those good things are truly good. So the real question is, what is goodness in a purely atheistic universe? Epstein says that goodness is grounded in human empathy, human flourishing, social cooperation, shared values, and reason. But here are the problems. If there is no God, morality becomes subjective. In atheism, there is no divine lawgiver. There is no objective moral standard, no transcendent purpose, and no ultimate accountability. So who decides what is good? Society, culture, the majority, personal preference, or evolutionary survival? If morality is grounded only in human opinion, then let's say the Holocaust could be good if a society decides that it is. Slavery could be good if it benefits the majority. And kindness has no more ultimate value than cruelty. Both are just survival strategies. Atheism can describe how we feel about morality, but not why morality is binding or objective. Empathy doesn't equal objective morality. Epstein says humans are moral because they feel empathy. But empathy varies from person to person. It can be overridden by desire, fear, or anger, and it doesn't create moral obligation. There are no moral oughts in atheistic worldviews. So if a dictator wants power more than empathy, what principle says that he's wrong? Well, none. Unless there's a moral law that transcends human emotions. Evolution, similarly, cannot produce binding moral duties. Some atheists will say that morality evolved for survival. Even if that's true, evolution can only give descriptive facts, not prescriptive moral duties. Evolution says the strong survive, the weak perish, and selfish genes reproduce. So, why should we help the weak? Why should we protect the vulnerable? And why should we sacrifice ourselves for strangers? After all, evolutionary ethics cannot produce intrinsic human dignity, moral obligations, universal human rights, or compassion for the weak. But Christianity does, because we claim there is a moral lawgiver. If there isn't a real difference between kindness and cruelty, justice and injustice, love and hatred, then there must be a real, objective moral law grounded in a transcendent source. Atheism cannot supply this. Christianity can. Human dignity, after all, requires a creator. Epstein says that humans matter because humans say so. The Bible says humans matter because they are made in the image of God. They have immortal souls, and they have inherent worth, not assigned worth. Our moral intuition points beyond ourselves. C.S. Lewis argued that every complaint about evil assumes a standard of good. Every cry of, "That's not fair," assumes fairness is real, and every moral judgment assumes objective morality. If evil is real, then good is real. If good is real, a moral standard is real. If a moral standard is real, a moral lawgiver is real. So Christianity can explain both goodness and our failure to be good. Atheism says that humans are basically good. Evil is a result of ignorance, environment, or broken system. But Christianity says humans have dignity because they are made in God's image. Humans are deeply broken because of sin. And in Christianity, we have the greatest moral act in history, the cross. So Epstein says that you can be moral without God, but Christianity says God is the source of all morality. And he demonstrated ultimate moral goodness by taking on flesh, entering a broken world, bearing sin, absorbing injustice, conquering evil, offering forgiveness. There is no secular equivalent to the cross. The greatest moral beauty in the universe is found in Jesus Christ, not in humanism. So in conclusion, yes, you can be quote-unquote good without God, socially, externally, behaviorally, but you cannot explain, justify, or ground goodness without God. After all, atheism can produce moral feelings, but Christianity provides a moral foundation. Atheism can give you descriptions of how people act, but in Christianity, it can tell you how people ought to act. Atheism can offer temporary motivation, but Christianity gives eternal purpose. Atheism describes human behavior, but Christianity can transform it. True goodness, objective, real, grounded goodness, makes sense only if God exists. Well, Lord willing, I'll see you on Sunday. God bless.